Hey, Bramborough back with some Grand Tactician Civil War, our CSA campaign, which is still fairly new. I think this is only like episode 4. And, yeah. So, what we got going on? Well, we've gotten the campaign rolling. It's still July 1861. We have fought a couple of battles already. Let me turn that filter off there. We have fought a couple battles already up here in Northern Virginia, both of which have gone well for us. Most recently, Joe Johnston with the Shenandoah Army defeated, I'm going to guess that's probably, McClellan near Winchester, and this Union Army should be retreating soon. They came within a whisker of finishing the capture of Winchester, Virginia, but I think we caught them just in time. Our Army of Tennessee is still increasing readiness and waiting for some troops to show up at Nashville. Only 1,600 men at the moment, more coming. Of course, even when those troops get there, it'll still be below 8,000 men. We do have some troops recruiting, just a few brigades, not too many, in North Carolina and in Alabama. We've got an engineering corps who is going to do some telegraph building, which reminds me, I need to turn off my monuments and turn on the telegraph and supply display. And the idea there, as I think I've mentioned before, the main Confederacy telegraph trunk originates in Montgomery. A big branch goes up this way, and a big branch loops around to New Orleans and then back up. So what I want to do first is kind of cut off some of this distance and maybe reduce order delays. And so need to build the telegraph station at Tuscaloosa and Columbus, Mississippi. Why so close? Why 2? Will 1 not do it? No, it won't. Let me just look. Let's highlight the radius for Montgomery and Grenada. It's probably easy, yeah. There's just a little sliver right there. The radii don't touch. And in order to connect to one, a station has to be within the radius of another one. So that's why I got to build 2. I could actually put this engineering corps right here, and he could build one on either end of his command radius at the same time, and that would probably work. But that's not what I've got him ordered to go to Tuscaloosa. He'll build one there and then build another one in Columbus. And then he's going to extend the telegraph line up this way through Arkansas to Missouri, so we can have this army in telegraph connectivity, which the Missouri Army is at full readiness and has received all of the initial troops I sent his way. So the Union Army, I think it's called the Army of the West or the Department of the West or something like that, is currently building a supply depot up here. And unless the Union has reinforced it, that army is probably a little bit smaller than Price's force. Also, this town, and therefore this telegraph station, but this town is Union only because this Union army is close by. If no forces are around, it would be Confederate because it's closest to Carrollton among the larger, name displayed on map cities like this. So if we can think I'm going to come up here to Springfield in Missouri with this army and just kind of see what happens. At very least, catch sight. Hold on a minute. Let's cancel that because first I want to order him into scout mode, which also takes a telegraph, which also takes an order forever to get there. Okay. And anyway, so we'll be doing that with Price. Let's see what else is there to talk about. So my little experimental blockader force, my raiders, are at green readiness and have a clear shot out into the Atlantic without getting attacked by a Union fleet. So I am going to bring them up this way, and I'm just, only because I've never done it, like probably everybody watching knows the answer to this. I want to bring it up here and see if it's possible to blockade the, I mean, yeah, there's some ports there to blockade too, but I'm specifically interested to see if these little trade icons on the edge of the map are blockadable. I think they probably are, because there's a perk description that kind of implies such. Anyway, like I said, it's probably well known that whether you can or not, but I've just never done it, so I'm going to do that and see what happens. Okay, before we get things rolling though, there have been a couple comments on prior videos about some 1.06 stuff. And one of them was, hey, the Confederacy starts with a couple, not a couple. The comment was that the Confederacy starts with a military academy, and that is Virginia Military Institute, VMI, which is up in the Shenandoah Valley, and I think it is, there it is. So we do have a military academy in Virginia, which is great because there's more officers in the Confederate Army from Virginia than any other state. And let's just take a look at what it does. So overall improvement of military experience per year. All right. So it does have at least one national level effect. And then for within its state, Virginia officers get an increase of commander attributes per year. It's a pretty tiny bonus. And a reduced loss of experience for all Virginia officers when you promote them. That's pretty good. And it turns out, I mean, it says minus 1.4%, but I went into the officer section here. Let's just find a Virginia officer here. Let's say I want to promote Eccles, right? And we hover over the promote, and see there it says influence on experience minus 22%. Normally, before this military academy thing was implemented, the standard loss of experience for promotion for a volunteer officer was 25%. So it cuts it from 25 to 23. I think that's pretty good. And then when it was pointed out, and it turns out, yeah, VMI is in the game, that made me think, well, I wonder if the Citadel is. Let's go to the correct state. Yeah, look at there, it is. So we start with 2 military academies, one for Virginia and one for South Carolina. Enough of that. I want to get this little fleet up to the, I just want them to come straight out this way first and get them well out to sea. I don't want them running afoul of any of these fleets up here. So let's just go here first. And then we'll get Oh yeah, I'm waiting for him to go into scouting mode. Let's get time rolling. I don't know if there's going to be any battles during this episode. That will be largely up to the Yankees, I think. Oh, and earlier I kind of glossed over Western Virginia, where Garnet took the opportunity afforded by McClellan coming over here to the Shenandoah to pop up here and recapture Grafton, Virginia. And we are starting that process, I think. Where are we at now? 7%. Now McClellan's coming back this way. He's retreating for now. He's got low attrition. This is already considered... Yeah. There's no IIPs over here that were eligible for him because of that. So he's going up back into Maryland. That suits me just fine. When Garnet is done capturing Grafton, which may take a while because he doesn't have very many men, I think I'm going to bring him up here and chase away this militia unit. Let's see if we can recapture Wheeling, Virginia. Not West Virginia, Virginia. And meanwhile, Beauregard is here. He has already captured Alexandria, so that's Virginian again. Oh, what is the Army of Northeastern Virginia up to? McDowell's doing something. I think I should probably bring Johnston up here. How many men are here? 21,000. 14,000. So we are currently on 12-month contracts. And we can see, our brigades have 9 months. Most of them have 9 months currently left to serve. And anyone who has started a Union campaign in the summer 1861 start is probably well aware that the Union starts with that 12-month policy researched, but the actual troops in the starting armies, most of them are on 3-month volunteer contracts. And in fact, most of them start this campaign with only about 3 weeks remaining. So around about the first week of August, a couple weeks from now, we should see a pretty big drop in Union troop numbers in these armies because of their volunteers going home. And they have lost 2 battles. They really haven't done anything that is going to increase any state support, as far as I know. And so their re-enlistment rate is probably going to be below 50%. Maybe down as low as almost 40%. Like 41, 42, 43, something like that. And the vast majority of these brigades, they're going to be cut to about half strength. So I think maybe we kind of bide our time on anything aggressive. In the first week of August, we'll keep an eye on, Patterson here. He may 21,000 now estimated. He may drop down to 9,000. 10,000. Maybe that might be a good time to run over and pop them. Alright. It was also pointed out in comments that we start with a few markets here and there. And there may be more, but yeah, there's a market at Charleston, and there's one at New Orleans as well. I didn't go hunt every major city on the map. There may be one or two more elsewhere. But it was suggested that a good place to put initial markets would be in these major ports. Oh, damn. Well, and for the same reasons I was talking about, it is advantageous for the Union to try to force battles early before those enlistments run out. And that is what Patterson is doing. Okay, so we're facing 21,000 men with not quite 15,000, including one brigade that is low on morale. Okay, so overall, he's not doing too terribly bad, although that is 2,000 men, which is a fairly significant chunk of our force. So we're going to have a brigade that we have to pay attention to. We don't have very many guns. He's got me out-artilleried. He's also got some cav, which I don't see as a big deal because, frankly, the AI sucks at using cav. That's about... Basically, the AI just uses them as... They don't use them any differently than line infantry. You know, they don't try to flank with them or really go out of their way to use their firepower, scout, whatever. So, yeah, whatever. Okay. I am like 99.99999% sure that we're going to have the Manassas map. I'm going to hop in, see what the objectives are, all that kind of stuff. Set some stuff up, and I will be back. Okay, here we are for the Battle of Alexandria. Surprise, surprise, it is the Manassas map. As expected, for this part of Virginia. This map gets used a lot, especially early in a campaign. I've said this before, but I'll mention it again. There's only so many maps. And they really, you know, because they tried to go out of their way to, within the context of a game and the limitations, to make them detailed and accurate. And so there's only so many of them, and they have a few for regions of the main map. So they get reused. But with the objective system, you know, there's something for some reason the number 16 sticks in my head. I don't know if that's true or if that's true for every map, but there's a lot of objectives all over this map. Only one or two of which will actually be active for a given engagement. And so that means even though they're reusing the same map over and over, the battles on those maps can be radically different because, you know, like this time, here's the objective, by the way. It's down here in the southern part of the map. It's the only one. Newmarket and Sully Road. It is neutral, but it is within our deployment zone. It's giving us a meeting situation, but essentially it's defensive, right? Because we're going to grab this objective point, and then they're going to, you know, that seems pretty apparent. And so you can have completely different battles with completely different terrain, even though you're using the same map. And I just think that's one little kind of design feature that the devs did a really, really nice job with on this game. I like the way they did that. Right. So as I mentioned, meeting situation, there's the objective within our deployment zone, and I probably won't even have to move these skirmishers. They'll probably just start capturing it as soon as I get time rolling. Our entry point over here, I think that's our only one. Well, there's one up here on the Catharpin Road, too, but it's really kind of irrelevant. The federal entry point is up here in the northeast corner, so this is where Patterson's army is spawning, somewhere over here. And I don't see any other entry points for the Federals. And at this point, it's not that important because there are not reinforcements coming for either side. So, basically, all the troops that are going to fight this battle are on the field now. There's a couple different routes he could take. If he starts up here, coming into the objective, he could come down this way by the McLean house from this direction. He could kind of come through here over Island Ford and come down this direction. Or he could march straight down the Warrenton Turnpike to the Stonehouse and come straight down the Manassas Sedley Road. I kind of think this is the most likely, but any of these are reasonable enough alternatives that I felt like I had to honor the possibility of any of those three. So I've set this position up. I had a few engineering points, not much. I didn't really have enough for parapets, but I had enough for a little bit of breastwork. And I've said, and this altogether isn't really one position. It is two separate positions. If he comes from this way or down this way, then this is the main position. If he comes down the Manassas Sedley Road, then this is the main position. I don't think both of these breastworks are going to come into play. One of them almost certainly will, though, and will give us kind of an anchor around which to form our full position. So for now, Jackson's division, he's got 2 brigades because I had moved A.P. Hill's brigade over to reinforce the Shenandoah army. And so got a little breastworks here near the objective facing this way. And then Harvey Hill's division over this way. And then Longstreet, I've got him in a position where he can kind of flex to either side as the situation dictates. And same with the artillery. I've got them limbered right now because they're going to have to move to one side or the other. This is a situation where I would really like some cavalry to come up here and kind of scout out which way they might be coming. We don't have cav yet. I'm recruiting some down in Carolina, but none today. And I don't have a big enough force. We're already outnumbered about 1.5 to 1. So I didn't feel like it was worth, putting some scouting infantry brigades up here. Nah. So we're just going to have to wait and see which way they come. And I think that's about all there is to it. The one wavering brigade that we saw, that we had one, and that's this one. And that is Koch, which makes perfect sense because Koch's brigade broke in the last battle. So it makes sense that they're not all that terribly happy. Pickett's brigade did not break in the last battle, but lost a lot of men and came very close to breaking. And even though not showing wavering now, his morale is not much better. So that's something that I'm going to have to keep in mind as this battle progresses. And I think that about covers it. It is 1600, and it is July, so sunset will come at 2100. So we do have 5 hours here. However, the Federals are marching quite a way. I doubt there will be much fighting today. And when we get to night, maybe by then we will have seen which way they are coming. and we can kind of, adjust this during the deployment phase again. With that, I'm going to get time rolling, but there's not going to be much happening for a little while, so I will be back when there's more to show. All right. Okay, so time has been running for about 2.5 hours. It's 18:30 now, so we have 2.5 hours until sunset, and Federals have appeared. Turns out we've got 2 brigades, so there's going to be more behind them. And it looks like they took this middle route across Island Ford or possibly across Balls Ford, but are coming down this. They're coming down this way, obviously. And so they're trying to get to here. So I think my initial response is going to be, I'm going to move Longstreet's division up into this gap. I'll advance the skirmishers a little bit, and I'll have skirmishers kind of along in here. And then Longstreet's brigades will build some breastworks right in this area, I think. I'll keep Evans and Early in their breastworks for now. But I'm going to rotate their skirmishers around this way and rotate Evans to face this direction. He'll lose some cover, but not all. He should still maintain yellow cover levels from the breastworks. And so that's the near-term plan. And I'll be back. Right, so more Federals have showed up. A division came from this direction as well. So they're coming from 2 different directions, but it looks like they're forming kind of around in here. Got the skirmishers all deployed through this area, and you can hear there's some shooting going on. Huger and Pickett building some breastworks. Looks like I didn't really could have built those better, but man, they're doing it. I thought they were. Yeah, they've started. A lot of foresting here. I'm not seeing a great artillery position. I'm kind of just letting them hang out for a while. Let the situation develop before I decide where to place them. Maybe can bring them over here and deliver some enfilading fire from this. That's probably going to be the most likely thing. It's still early, but it doesn't smell like they're going to load up and come right into the objective this way. They seem to be wanting to come over here. So it kind of looks like Jackson and Longstreet will probably bear the brunt of the attack, but then Hill's brigades will be in a position to come around and flank. At least I hope that's the way it works out. We'll just have to see. Speed time up a little bit here. Skirms are doing. They're doing fine. No, Evans isn't really. Go ahead and pull him in. They are going to have cover in these woods, but that's also going to slow them down and increase their fatigue. still constructing. Huber sort of constructing. Not exactly sure what Huber is doing there. Yeah, he's still constructing. I had put early skirms back up, but they were already. Nope, not bad. I'm pretty determined Dusk attack. Skirms driven in. Evans, skirms need to... Okay. Alright. That was a pretty intense little attack there right at the end of the day. Let's see what our deployment zone looks like. Well, not much of one. And 5.6 engineering points. Alright, I'm going to fiddle around with this just for a little bit, and I'll be back. Okay, it's morning of day 2. I didn't really do that much. I just kind of somewhat straightened the line a little bit. Evans remains in his breastworks. This breastwork stayed the same. I didn't draw this one well the first time. I should have had Pickett coming up a little bit more. So I've put a breastwork here. And then I just kind of adjusted, put a new little line here for early to man. So it's just a little bit straighter, not entirely. So I decided I did not want Longstreet's division right here, because I suspect that, you know, whoever's in this breastwork especially, you know, Pickett and Koch kind of wavering. So I brought... Harvey Hill's division in, so they're manning this position. Hill and Jackson are going to defend here along the line. I brought the artillery over here. They're unlimbered now, and they'll get some shots down through here. They don't have a fantastic firing arc. It's, you know, this is all blocked by woods, but they'll get some shots through here at these forces. And then Longstreet's division is in position here to move up and then maybe deliver a flank attack like so. And that's about all I did. That's really about all there was to do. Now these were the positions at dusk. The federal positions might change a little bit, or they might not. And I think that's it. Still got some skirms out along here, and I did remember to switch the skirms around. So this is Withers skirms and Bonham's skirms, and so everything ought to be lined up okay. And I think we're going to go right back into shooting as soon as I hit the play button, which is now. Yep, there we go. And immediately I am thinking I should have swapped Early and Evans. I think I would have rather had the Mississippi Rifles over here on the flank shooting this way. That would have been better. Oh well, too late now. Wish I'd thought of that about 20 seconds ago. Okay. Yeah, the artillery is shooting at something. 12-pound field guns and 12-pound howitzers. Don't have any 6-pounders here. That's probably the only non-6-pounder artillery in the entire Confederate Army. That'll lessen the casualties taken by Evans' brigade, which is already looking a little toasty. I think I already want to get Longstreet moving forward. Just go tell these pickets to just start firing on Steedman, start working on their flank. Going to hold. I'm actually going to set Jackson to rally. I'm going to get Jackson killed. Wounded, not dead. Doing? He's starting to wait. This is going to wind up breaking. Longstreet's coming in on this flank. I am going to back Withers and have him come over to this position. Get moving. Bottom's doing all right. Early is doing all right. Let's go ahead and switch him. Be a long range though. Evans wounded as well. Cox morale has actually improved. So has Pickett's. Oh, well, these need to be a little bit faster than that. Okay over here. Not really heavily engaged yet. This first brigade is going to come in pretty soon. Close enough. Move Withers to here. 1,700 to almost 1,100. Casualty ratio slightly in our favor, but it needs to be better than that. We want Withers actually get over here. Help things. Okay, launch streaks, guys. Keep coming. Tail over a little bit this way since he's kind of adjusting his division's position. While you're at it. Okay, launch route is getting properly engaged over here. Do have a very good morale situation. With 63, Federals are at 52. I sure hope that Federal Cavalry still has mixed cav weapons and not some kind of repeater. What are you doing? What the hell, bro? Well, there's no point in changing his order because he's all the way back here anyway. I'm just going to let him continue with that. Goodness gracious. Early, how you doing over here? Kinda okay. Sort of. Brigade has taken over 500 casualties. They're wavering. first attack is doing all right over here. Rotate pick it a little bit, just get a few more of his guys firing into that flank. Yeah, you guys are eager now. Go big and go. Honestly, I don't know if determined or eager is higher. That might have fallen, actually. How is... Bomb's getting a little toasty there. Still got some resilience left. Alright. At least Withers is moving pretty fast now along that road. He may wind up getting some issues from that, but he seems okay for the moment. Get over there, help early. So that Federal Brigade is falling back. Now I think we should be working on the cab, yes. Let's take it back a little bit. For goodness sake, it's a long range picket. Sneaking a few shots in from the rear. Bars going in our direction. We're at 3,700 to 2,300. There we go. Springfield muskets. He is at long range. Can he even get skirms out? Does it look like it? No, he's fine. Okay. Early's got some support there. Thinking maybe not a terrible idea just to fall early back to this position here. I'm not that worried about the objective. Just to give him a little bit of a breather. Maybe. Alright, take it. Get up in their face. Is fine. I'm just trying to get them within firing range so we get more brigades firing on this cab. We'll rotate Hugo just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, things are looking good here. 4,200 to 2,600. Taking some casualties, but they've taken more. The percentage is not that different for each side. So even during the retreat phase, which should be coming up momentarily, you need to be careful. This cab is wavering over here. I don't think they ever actually got the objective. Yeah, I think they're working on it now, though. Slowly move back a little bit. That's okay. Taking 700 casualties, but he's delivered a lot more. Okay, this cab is good. actually going back the other direction. Not a major victory, but it's not done. It's going to go back minor if we go over 22%, and I'm kind of thinking that might happen. I was getting a little worried there. So there's still almost an hour left, and just because officially the Federal Army is retreating doesn't mean all of these brigades will. You see that sometimes where it looks like the enemy units individually are ignoring that order, and they keep fighting, sometimes even advancing. And we are at 21.6%. So even though it's retreat phase, I think it is quite likely that we are going to get this major snatched back away from us. Even if we were to try to disengage, firing is going to go on long enough. We're going to cross that threshold, I'm pretty sure. That brigade is working. That's good. I don't want any of my guys to cancel. Let them retreat. Matter of fact, I'm even going to issue fallback. Frankly, I just want the shooting to stop. Yeah, we just went down. I think it is a done deal, though. I don't think... I've never seen a battle revert back out of retreat into a proper battle again. I don't think that happens. Go ahead and stop. Well, somehow, Jackson's staff decided to come up here and take cover in this breastwork. Oh, because I didn't move him whenever I moved come on back. Where is... Oh, yeah. Evans is headed for the hills somewhere. He's back here somewhere. Are they still retreating? No. At least they're not leaving the field. Which is good, even though they're broken. That is 780 guys that still count toward our total for percentage-wise. 6,500, 3,500. Almost not quite 2 to 1. This hurts, though. Winning several victories like this is a good way to lose a war. What? How did we go to minor defeat? Dicey, but I don't see how we went to minor defeat. We're still in the retreat phase. still much higher. He's got more route points. He's got more lost points. I don't understand this. It does happen sometimes. I've seen it in other people's campaigns, something like this. Goodness. Is it just because of the stupid objective? It is still showing Confederate. Just advanced enough that maybe we've still got credit. We still have 3 objective points and the Federals have 0. I don't think that's it. I guess I should have these guys pressing forward and trying to kill more Federals. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt. Bottom's got a perk. For a Mississippi outfit, yeah, I think I definitely want a sharpshooter. It's already pretty accurate at long range. That'll make him even more so. Close to a perk here, not quite there. Huger. He's a regular, he's not a Mississippi. I think I like Ace of Spade. I tend to put my brigades in cover a lot. I think that's going to be kind of my default infantry perk in the army. You know, units that have Mississippi rifles, Fayettevilles, Richmond, stuff like that, I'll give them sharpshooter. And then I'll kind of the regular line infantry brigades with kind of the standard weapons. I'm going to give them Ace of Spade, I think is my overall strategy for that. Perks. %, 25%. Prevent a major defeat. Do not suffer more than 22%. Well, we're over that threshold. Is this going to turn into a major defeat for us? That's garbage there. It's not saying that yet. I honestly don't know what it's going to show on the battle results. No idea. Okay, that's better. Still not quite sure how that happened. However, cool with that. I hope it stays like that on the campaign map when we load back out. Alright. So we didn't put a big hurt on his artillery. 8,000 out of 20,000. So roughly almost 40% of his force gone. Big chunk of ours, though. Didn't lose any guns. That's cool. And let's just have a look at them. Okay, Jackson's division over on the right. 1,300 delivered, and that almost. Well, let's see. Evans did a good bit, but then he broke, and early almost 1,000 casualties. That makes sense. I think that's early. Yeah. Evans and Jackson injured, of course. Harvey Hills wound up in the middle, 3,700 casualties. The overwhelming majority of which had to have been done by Bonham. Yeah. Bonham's, and they got a ton of experience from that too. That's Bonham's experience, I think. But even the unit. Yeah. That's our first 5-star unit too. Which probably means we're going to come out of this out of this battle, and they won't like Bonham anymore. That's what typically happens. They get highfalutin, and you could put like Julius Caesar in charge of this brigade, and they wouldn't be happy with him. How did our artillery do? I'm going to guess not all that hot. 72 casualties. Yeah. Probably to be expected from that situation. Longstreet's guys didn't do bad. Almost 3,000 casualties inflicted, including them. That's a pretty good whooping on that one cavalry brigade that they faced off against. All right. Come out of HQ mode. So I think it's still showing minor defeat here, but well, let's just see what they give us when we actually come out of the battle. Onto the campaign map. Okay, Confederate minor victory. Which I think is appropriate. But because we took such high casualties and it's a minor, the morale and the military experience changes really not all that terribly high. And somehow, again, it's the artillery guy who gets the fame. That seems to be... It's not the first time I've seen that. Where somehow it's the artillery division commander who gets the fame buff coming out of a battle. It almost feels like it's slightly more likely for some reason for that to occur. Okay. At least Evans didn't get defamed. So that's good. Problem is, this North Virginia Army, they're down to less than 11,000 men. I mean, some of that's going to come back. We do have a hospital building. Although it's still got 2 weeks. So Patterson probably isn't coming back real soon. But if that Army of Northeastern Virginia decides to come on back down here and attack again, I don't know if Beauregard's got the horses right now to do much about it. Anyway, I think that will do for this episode. If you like the content I'm doing here, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe, perhaps even. I've mentioned it before, but there's a few other small channels doing some really nice Grand Tactician Civil War and other content. And I'll probably link one of their playlists or a video here at the end screen. And at any rate, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it.